Well, I've just arrived at Dartmoor. It's 16:05. I haven't been online, or I haven't been videoing for a long time. I've had personal problems to deal with. Just parked up here near Bellevator. I'm trying to make a choice because I know the area reasonably well. I might go down to a river bit there, which will be all downhill, and camp near the river, or I might go up to the Tor. The problem is, though, is that I've got a new tent, and it's a Hilleberg Unna, UNNA, and I've never put it up before. Apparently it's quite simple, but still I'd like a bit of light. So I've probably got about 20 minutes to sunset, and then of course we've got the twilight. It shouldn't be that bad, but yeah, I better get a move on. So I'm spending overnight here just to camp, come back down to my car, going to go somewhere else, do a bit of a walk tomorrow. That was the hardest river crossing I've done for a while. I've got a lot of weight on my back and a camera in my hand, and the river's not in spate, but it's flowing more strongly than it normally does. That was difficult. This is where I'm going to pitch up for the night. It's quite dry here. Everything else is really boggy around, but underneath these fir trees here, it looks good. So I haven't put this tent up before, so I need to get a leg on. Speak to you later. Well, I'm pitched up. The Unna tent, the Hilleberg Unna, is it's got no vestibule as such. It's got a tiny vestibule, so you've got more space inside. You can fit 2 people in it at a squeeze. It was really easy to put up, no problems whatsoever. I am freezing. I've got a very thin sort of emergency sort of top on, and not much underneath that. My fault. I knew it was going to be below freezing, but yeah, I'm pretty cold. And of course it's the winter. I don't want to get into my tent just yet, so I'm having a little vodka. I've got a little bit of vodka with me, so I'll probably go to bed about 9 o'clock. But yeah, I think I made a slight mistake by not bringing enough clothes. Well, I apologise for the sound, because my Rode Wireless Go-To microphone has let me down. But here I am, guys. I can sit on that bough there. Hope you can see me. So I've got the Something to Eat chicken tikka, and I don't often cook. What I mean is I don't often use heat. I just put water in and let it soak in over an hour, let's say. So let's have it hot here. Very nice. Well, my tent was excellent. This Hilleberg Unna, UNNA, I keep saying that. Tent was excellent. My sleeping bag, I found out, is I should have known, but it was basically rated down to -10. I reckon it was about -4 last night. It's a winter wonderland out there at the moment. It's full of frost and everything. So I wasn't that warm, but I wasn't that cold. And I woke up a few times. Don't forget, I had to go to bed about 8 o'clock in the evening. It's now 7:45 in the morning. Sun rises at 8:30. So it wasn't that bad overall, but I had to use a couple of hand warmers in my socks. I'm not really dressed for this weather, to be totally honest with you, and that's my fault. So yeah, and I've got to get across that river. I'm going to have to do it barefoot across the rocks, because I don't want to take a dip in the river. It's going to be icy as well, so I might have to wait a while for the ice to melt off if the sun comes up. I'm in a big valley here, so you know, I'm not on the Tor, I'm down below. Anyway, I'll speak to you later. I'm not going to have breakfast or anything like that. I'm just going to pack up my tent, make my way back to my car, and decide what I'm going to do for the second day before I meet up with my friends on Friday. So I've got another night by myself. I might do a bit of a walk in somewhere. But yeah, it's bloody cold, to be totally honest. But I wasn't in a survival situation. I was basically just a little bit nippy. Well, a bit of a frosty winter wonderland. There's my tent. There's a view back that way. It's going to be a nice day when this fog clears, when the sun comes up properly. I've got to cross that river there, and to be quite honest with you, I'm slightly worried, because I nearly took a dive last night. It's about 3 foot deep, and I don't really want to get a boot full, So I might take my boots off completely, go barefooted, and just make my way across and put my boots and socks on the other side. Yeah, I don't want to take the risk, because if you get a boot full, you're on a multi-day hike, you know, and it's really cold, you're going to have problems. I was going to take my boots off, go barefooted in case I took a dive, but I'm too lazy, so you could see me fail here big time. Let's give it a go. Well, I was a bit disappointed my camera failed on that river crossing because it was quite hairy, but hey, I got across. I'm back in my car now. I'm going to make my way to get some fuel and decide where I'm going to camp tonight. Basically, it's a lovely night. It was cold last night. Thank God I had that Hilleberg Unna tent, because I don't think my MSR Hubba NX Solo would have coped with it. I had no condensation either. It's a heavy tent, but in conditions like this, where it's really clear in the evenings and it gets really cold, it's fantastic. My new sleeping bag was a Cedar Summit, I think SP3, which is down to -8, and I reckon it wasn't far off -4, -5, and I had an okay night, dressed in my clothes. Well, here I am at Meldon Reservoir. I don't know quite where I'm going to go. I'm going to walk round the other side of the reservoir, because that is the side that allows wild camping, and you know, depending on the time, I'd like to make my way up to one of the tours, but I've got started late because my microphones are playing me up, both of them. They're both made by Rode, the Australian company, and they're both not working, so I apologise for the sound. So let's get going and get round this reservoir. That's the reservoir behind me. I talked to a couple of wild campers in the car park. They look very professional. They said to me, try Black Tour, because I haven't got a lot of time. It's not very flat around the edge of the reservoir either. But you know, I'll always find somewhere. It is Dartmoor. The place is crawling with raw marines, baby marines, bootnecks, whatever you like to call them. I don't think bootneck's a very nice expression. I've just met two ladies who told me there was a merganser down here. It's quite a good place for bird watching around here. Now, I am a bird watcher, but I had to get my phone out to confirm it was a merganser, because they wanted to know. I thought it can't be a pochard, they're normally by the coast, but you never know. But it's definitely a merganser, so hopefully I might see it. Well, this area looks pretty good actually. There's a stone bridge over there. But I want to see the sunset. I don't want to be in a valley tonight, so I've got to make a bit of a leg on, probably 300-metre climb before sunset. And what time is it now? It's roughly 3 o'clock. I might not make it. Sunset's, I think, 16:25, something like that. Well, there's the tour. That's where I'm making my way to. There's people up there already. That pull-up was the worst pull-up I've ever done. Not steep, but knee-high tufts of grass with about 12 inches of water at the bottom. So that was really difficult. Well, I finally got here. The sun's going over the yard arm in front of the tour there. And this is the only dry spot I've found. All the way up, it was just bog. So I couldn't have camped any lower really. That's a view back towards Oakhampton and the reservoir, etc. Harder slog than I thought it would be. Well, this looks pitch perfect, pointing into the sun there. So yeah, here looks pretty good. And it's like a hotel compared to my MSR Hubba NX Solo, or One as some people call it. It's got tons of space. Let me have a quick look inside and show you. I've got no stabilisation on this camera, not in 4K anyway. Yeah, so it's pretty huge. Just about to have myself, I think, pasta bolognese. So something to eat. I do rate their food. I just think dried food's a little bit too expensive for what it is, because you'd only freeze dried it. There's people in America who buy their own freeze dryers. I don't want to spend money on that. But anyway, let's get something going. How are we going on there? Not too bad. The stove isn't performing very well actually, because it is so bloody cold. It's getting a sort of a bit of icy on the outside. Yeah, so it's not performing that well, but it will cook. Well, it will boil, I should say. I put the little frying pan on top. This is a non-stick frying pan, by the way, but it's not very non-stick. I found out when you go to clean it, it all comes off. Well, in the tent, it suddenly got really windy. I looked at the forecast. I've got reception here, 4G, quite good, so I can listen to music and check the forecast. And it's going to be really cold again tomorrow, so it's going to be clear tomorrow and frosty, but there's going to be this wind, and it's also very foggy in the valleys. It's going to be foggy everywhere. There's a fog warning, but the wind is quite strong. I mean, it's about 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, but I'm on a top, so when I come to dismantle the tent, I'm going to have my wits about me. I've had my food. I'm just having a little bit of vodka and orange. I've got a tiny bit of vodka. And the thing about winter camping is that once you're inside the tent, really that's as far as you're going to go, unless you want to a balut, so to speak. Go outside and go to the toilet. And I've got something to capture that in, a proper catcher. You know what I'm talking about. And even ladies can use this one as well. That includes me. Yeah, so I feel quite warm actually, warmer than I did last night. I think because I was in a valley and it was really cold. They say it's going to be about -2 in the towns, and I reckon up here it'll be about -3, -4. My mat seems to be working okay. I've got hand warmers in and foot warmers in, you know, the chemical ones, hot hands, whatever they are. There are other brands available. So I should have a good night. And then I've got to get back into Oakhampton. It's not a long walk. It was a hell of a walk up here though, because I picked the wrong route and it was so boggy. I mean, anyone that thinks Dartmoor's beautiful should ask a Marine first, a Royal Marine, and they'll tell you exactly what they think of Dartmoor. It's a bit of a hellhole in places, unless you stick to the main pass, which are reasonably dry. But even right at the top here on this tour, Black Tour, it's still very damp. Luckily this tent has got a fantastic floor on it. It's a 4-season tent, and it's almost like tarpaulin the floor, so it's doing me a lot of favours. We talk about thermal resistance and stuff like that with mats, you know, the R rating, but there's so many other factors. How many clothes you're wearing, you know, the thickness of the tent floor, etc, 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 so it goes on. So I know this mat will probably cope with this tonight. Still be a little bit cold. I was cold last night, but I might hang on buying another one and wait till next winter, because you know it's going to get warmer all the time. I plan to go to North Wales and Mid Wales next week actually. I'm starting to do my camping videos again, and hopefully, you know, you're liking them. I haven't got many subscribers. It's not what it's all about. I want to show people the beauty of nature. The reason I'm videoing is I just heard voices and I thought, oh my god, there's people. I'm at least 1,500 feet above sea level here, and it was a group of walkers walking past, and I said hi. They said hi back, and I said I didn't expect to, you know, meet anyone up here tonight. They said nor did we. They're obviously doing a night walk, and it just goes to show you these places are extremely popular. Dartmoor is very, very popular. I've worked that one out. It's not a weekend. There's cars everywhere during the day, people walking everywhere, and it's tough walking as well. You know, Dartmoor's not an easy place to walk, but it's extremely popular, and obviously it's near Plymouth and places like that, so a lot of people come here. So yeah, I said hi to them, they said hi back, as I said. So yeah, scare over. Well, here's the sunrise, guys. Sorry for the noise, the wind noise that is. Had a great night. All I've got to do now is get my tent down, so let's get going. It is cold up here, I have to wear gloves, but let's get moving. Let's get back and we'll get down to meet my friends who are coming from all over the country. I know it's a man-made reservoir where it's been flooded basically, but it's still a nice place. Nice view, so to speak. Dartmoor can be grim, but when the sun's out it's beautiful. I'm going to call it a day for filming today. Yeah, because I'm going back to the car. I've got to meet my friends. So yeah, let's wrap this one up. It's been a great night though. Fantastic night as a matter of fact.